Robert Donat was one of a handful of dashing and refined English actors whose good looks and appealing manner translated into an impressive movie career in the 1930s and 40s. After starting his career on the stage, he first tasted screen success in 1932 when he was cast as Thomas Culpepper in Alexander Corder's The Private Life of Henry VIII. He then went on to work with such distinguished British directors as Alfred Hitchcock, with whom he made The 39 Steps, Anthony Asquith in an adaptation of the Terence Rattigan play The Winslow Boy, and Carol Reed in The Young Mr. Pitt.
Before we begin, just let's know if we've got this right.
There was also an adaptation of A.J. Cronin's novel The Citadel for American director King Vidor, which netted him an Oscar nomination. He even managed to hold his own opposite the cinematic powerhouse that was Marlene Dietrich when they co-starred in the Russian Revolution romance Knight Without Armor in 1937. His most famous and acclaimed role, though, was in the first screen adaptation of Goodbye Mr. Chips in 1939, starring opposite Greer Garson in the well-worn Weepy about a headmaster at a boys' school, looking back on the decades he has spent there. The film was enormously popular, and it won Robert an Oscar for Best Actor, beating some formidable competition, most notably Clark Gable for Gone with the Wind. Hitchcock tried to cast him in 3 more films, but Robert turned him down each time. He suffered from chronic asthma, which worsened as he grew older. By 1955, all of his stage appearances were supported by a bottle of oxygen in the wings. And by the time of his final film, The Inn of the Sixth Happiness, with Ingrid Bergman in 1958, his fragility was obvious to all. He died shortly after filming was completed, succumbing to a chronic asthma attack. He was awarded a posthumous special citation from the National Board of Review in the US and nominated for a Golden Globe, losing to a fellow Englishman, David Niven, for Separate Tables. He had made only 19 films in his career and was dead at just 53.